Hi there, Simon from simonwoods.com. Now today, I've got 5 wines from a country where, well, when you think of its cultural baggage, wine isn't the first thing that comes to mind. Football, yes. Carnival, yes. But maybe even coffee, yes. But wine, Brazil, well, the news is, watch this space. Brazil's got growing numbers of very enthusiastic wine producers. Not all of them are exporting their wines. There's quite a few thousand, I think, who make wine, but only a few dozen of them are currently getting their wines out of the country. But I've got 3 sparklers and 2 whites from those people who are exporting. So let's give these a go. First one, Ourra. I think Ourra is I don't know if it's the biggest producer. There's another one called Miolo. I haven't got a wine from them in this video, but there's going to be another one featuring one of their wines. But Ourra is a big co-op, and it's got quite a lot of vineyards down in the south of Brazil. Yeah, because that's where most of Brazil's vineyards are, down way in the south, just that little bit above Uruguay. There are also some weird bits up near the equator where they can like plant grapes and just irrigate them in order to get the vines to grow, and stop irrigating to get the vines to stop growing. So you can almost plant a crop at any time of the year, harvest it like 4 or 5 months later, let the vineyard go quiet for about a month, and then get another crop. You can get more than 2 crops a year if you push it, but we're not in that area here. Here we are down in the south, and I think these are all, not quite all, from the province of Serra Gaúcha, which is the place for wine, and there's some specific bits that are the place for wine, but we'll get onto those if we come across one of those particular wines. Anyway, Casa Aurora, I think this is all Chardonnay, made by the Charmat method. And what I like about it is it's got this smoky, toasty notes, as if it has sat on the lees and has picked up a bit of complexity in the aging process. There's a freshness there. There's this ever so slight, what I call the elderflower smokiness, but it smells like it's going to be light, refreshing, and not too Tigger-like, but yeah, still on that refreshing and juicy and lively side. I don't mind that at all. It's got this. It's funny. It's got this smoky edge that says to me that maybe the fruit's been picked slightly early in order that it doesn't get too much flavour. But then it's got this creamy, yeasty richness. It doesn't feel like they've over-sweetened it. There's a bit of sweetness there, just giving richness, but rather than out-and-out sweetness. And the finish is fresh. It's lively, not hugely complex, but really rather tasty. I like that. Yeah, don't mind that at all. Next one. This is Method Champenoise, or Method Traditional, or whatever you're supposed to call it now, and it's from one of the specialists in sparkling called Casa Valduga, and it's their 130. I'm not sure what the 130 is, probably some significant anniversary, grapes here, that was all Chardonnay on the first one. This is Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, Method Champenoise. I know these guys have got some of their cuvées that sit on the lees in the Method Champenoise for 5 years, 6 years, sometimes even longer. I'm not sure what it is for this one, but let's see, have a sniff and see whether there's anything we can tell from that. And this smells much classier, just like a level up. And I think it's a level up in ambition and a level up in price. It's got that more of that rounded, nutty, even slightly honeyed character from the lees aging. It's got some biscuity complexity. The fruit feels like it hasn't got that smoky edge that was on the first one. Maybe that's the Chardonnay. Maybe this one that's got the extra bit of Pinot Noir in has added some roundness. I don't notice any of those red fruit flavours of Pinot Noir. It's more on that toasty hazelnut, bit of the pineapple, maybe even a little bit of citrus there, but pretty classy style it smells like. And it's got this roundness and richness and this these toffee notes. Fruit quite underplayed. Sometimes New World sparklers can be just that little bit too fruity. Here, it's got that mixture of freshness but laid back fruit. One of the reasons I think that it's something I find in quite a lot of Brazilian wines, and I don't know whether it's to do with humidity, but the wines don't have those, sometimes I think of New World fruit flavours as being on that slightly brash side. Maybe the humidity means they're not quite getting quite as much sunlight on the grapes, but I do notice in general the fruit flavours are not quite as in your face as other countries, and here I like its complexity. It's more on that yeasty, biscuity complexity. Maybe if I have a problem with it, I would like a little bit more fine minerality going through it, but very tasty style, and interesting contrast with that and the one before. Let's see how we get on with a rosé one. This is Monte Pascual Brut, or my Portuguese is dreadful. Although the weird thing is, this part of Brazil, you think that everyone is going to be sort of bikinis and carnival, and it's not actually. It's almost like a mini Italy, because the area was settled by in the middle of the 19th century, mid to late 19th century, by a lot of people who'd moved from northern Italy, and so there is a really distinct Italian influence there. I remember going to lunch at Casa Valduga, and we sat down and they said, and this wasn't just like part of all the meal. This was just part of the meal. They said, now we're going to have 9 pasta dishes. It was like a little mouthful of each, but still 9, it's pushing it. Anyway, this is the Brut Rosé. So it's got in Monte Pascual, made by people from an Italian heritage. It says Brut Rosé in French, and made by Brazilians. I'm not sure whether it's Charmat or Champenoise. Let's give it a sniff and see if there's anything we can detect from that. What I get is this has got the red fruit richness. It's got this a bit of blackberry and apple character. It's got raspberries, strawberries. I get something that's just a little bit on the cheesy side as well. That for me indicates that there's maybe they've done a little bit of malolactic fermentation, and I'm not sure whether they should have done. Or it could be that there was something in the lees that's giving it this flavour that in small amounts it adds interest, in large amounts it tends to take over. At the moment I find I smell it and it's just a bit dominant. Okay, yeah, I mean that's sort of like, it's like strawberry cordial. Maybe not as sweet as strawberry cordial, but with this cheesy, slightly lactic edge, always there in the background. It's okay, not great. Now, got 2 white wines to finish off with. The weird thing is that Brazil, I look at Brazil and see the wines that I like, and it tends to be the sparklers and the reds. For some reason, white wines, they've not fully got their heads round yet, and I'm sure it'll come because when I see what they've done with the other 2 styles. But it'll be interesting to see how these 2 are. So the first one is Sauvignon Nubio Sauvignon Blanc. From Serra Catarinense. So Serra means hills, and so the Catherine's Hills. There are a number of provinces. Serra Gaucha is the main one. I think Serra Catarinense is the one just above there, and I think the last one is from the province below there, but we'll get on to that in a moment. Anyway, Sauvignon Blanc. Well, there's certainly some Sauvignon character there. There's a slight catty edge and there's an elderflower edge. But for me, it's muddied by this nutty, toasty, sulphury character that it just smells. It smells like something's gone wrong when they've made this. And I've got another bottle of this. I'll try it later, but I have a suspicion that it's the wine rather than the bottle. Really not sure there. I find that it's got some okay catty, nettly freshness, but that edge of sulphur just tends to dominate the wine. It reminds me of old-fashioned Loire wines, where yes, you could tell that there was something going on, but there was too much sulphur there, dampening down the flavours, and by the time the sulphur had dissipated, the wine had sort of lost its freshness. Doesn't do it for me. Let's try the last one. Da Divas Chardonnay from Lidio Carraro. So Lidio Carraro, he's got vineyards in Serra Gaucha, which I think all of the ones, no, not all of them, but the one before wasn't. But most of that's where most of the vineyards are. But he's also got this one is from the southerly province, Encruzilhada do Sul. So let's have a whirl of this. And if it's like anything like their reds, they don't use oak. A personal decision. They're just not fans of oak for either reds or white. Even though sometimes I think some of their reds would benefit from it, but don't tell them. So this smells like it's going to be all about fresh fruit. A bit of apple, a bit of mango, a bit of melon, rounded, soft, unpropped up by oak, and it smells tasty, but smells like it might be on that slightly simple side. Good, honest, tasty wine. There's this, I get a nice zestiness coming through when I've on the finish. Juicy. There's this nice melon edge there, a bit of mango. And yes, it probably feels like they've kept it on the lees. There's a nice, ever so slightly nutty texture coming through too. So good, but I'm just wondering whether a little bit of a few months in a very old oak, just to soften it out, I would have. But I'm not a winemaker. They're the winemakers, and Brazil's got some good winemakers, and some of these have been terrific. I think Valduga I thought was excellent, and some of the others work in progress. But aren't we all work in progress? See you soon.